Hey everyone, this is Martin from How to Make Mobile Games on YouTube. Today's video I'm going to do an update for our game Blade Star X, which was released on the Google Play Market roughly 1 or 2 months ago, something like this. And today what I'm going to do is an update to add it onto the Amazon App Store with in-app purchases. So in-app purchases, in case you're not sure, that's where the player can buy something in the game. So here in Blade Star X, basically the player can buy geometry stars to unlock weapons in the game. So the Amazon App Store, the reason that I'm doing this one basically is because the Amazon App Store has been pretty good, and the statistics have been pretty good the past few weeks that we've had in-app purchases added in there. So I'll show you this quickly, and then just to give you an idea. So the game here, Blade Star X, is already available on Google Play. It's not on the Amazon App Store. So just so you know, on the Google Play Market, it already has in-app purchases as well. But the Amazon App Store actually generates more revenue. The percentage of users that buy things through the Amazon App Store is actually better than the Google Play Market. So that's why I'm doing this now, and that's why I want to get as many games onto the Amazon App Store as possible. So as I'm just signing in here, like I'll basically just talk, and this is a developer diary video. So as some of you may know, if you've watched my other developer diary videos, this is not a tutorial. I'll try to make this as easy to follow along as possible, so that any other developers out there who are also putting in-app purchases in their game for the Amazon App Store, you can follow along. But it's not going to be a beginner thing from scratch where I explain all the code. But hopefully as you watch, you guys can pick up what I'm doing here, and then if there's anything that maybe I've missed out or you've got some questions on, please drop a comment, and then I can fill that in as well. So this video isn't going to be very smooth either. This isn't a planned out tutorial or video or anything. It's just basically I need to do this update for our Studio Cobble Play. And so I decided to make a video on it, which is often how it works with the channel. So, but hopefully this format kind of works with people, and it's you know, you find it enjoyable. So so here we are. This is the Amazon App Store developer portal. If I go to reporting, I can show you roughly how many downloads and how much money these games make with quite a few downloads. So basically, this is the statistics page here. And we're on January the 5th, 2013, the day before, and then this is a Sunday, January the 6th. So we had 1,800 downloads in total. That includes all the free games, including the games that have no in-app purchases. So there's currently around, I think, 9 games which are live, 8 games. The other ones are still pending. So even though they're listed here, not all of them are actually live and downloadable right now. But I'll kind of change that as we go on. So we had 1,800 downloads. I'm going to separate this to the ones which have in-app purchases, which is Gangnam Style vs. Dance Zombies. It is Killer Shooting Sniper X and Super Bug Killer. So these are the 3 games that basically I've done Amazon in-app purchases with, and so far it's worked out pretty good. So I'll use one example here. So I've just broken these into the 3 sections so you can see each game. So, for example, Gangnam Style vs. Dance Zombies was downloaded 616 times on Sunday, January the 6th. Now, if we go to the number of in-app purchases, and Gangnam Style had 14 in-app purchases. So, if I do a rough calculation, that's 14 divided, what do we say, 656, I think, times by 100, so we get the percentage. That's a 2% purchase rate, which is really good actually. That's very good. That's almost the same as iPhone. So 2% of the people, the players that downloaded the game, have made an in-app purchase, which is excellent. And I did a video on this one before, so you know, check it out. I talk about the Amazon App Store, and you can see that on the channel as well. So I recommend it. I talk a little bit more about the statistics. So basically, you know, it does make some good revenue. I'll expand a little bit here because I don't mind sharing these statistics with everybody. Like, this is the actual revenue statistics here, not just the downloads. And like I say, I'm kind of doing this in a quick way. I've not planned out this video, so my apologies if it's a little bit sort of slapped together. But So yesterday, what did we say we had? We had roughly 800 downloads. I'll double check anyway. So I'm just quickly calculating off the top of my head here how much money this made on Sunday. So the Autumn rocket launcher is that's $3.50 revenue to us, the developer. It costs the player $5, so that's $7 for that one. And I'm just going to do this in my head quickly. And that's 8. That's 16. 16 plus 7. Okay, 23. And then 23. 23 plus 8. 23 plus roughly 5 is roughly 28. Okay, so roughly yesterday this made $28. That's to us, the developer at the end. So $28 on the Sunday. It was better on the Saturday actually. Let me recalculate this. I think it was around $50. So I'll just roughly calculate this one. So 7 Autumn rocket launchers. That's roughly $21. And 35, and then so around $45 on Saturday. So $28 here, $45 here, just for 3 games. Now you notice that Super Bug Killer did not have any in-app purchases. This is the green line at the bottom here, but that's not bad at all. I mean, roughly 1,000. I think that's 600 plus 800, 900 downloads, 900 downloads on. Yeah, say 1,000 downloads on each day, and then $28 here on Sunday, and then $45 here on Saturday, just for 3 games, which are not big games. They're not downloaded a lot. If your business model is like ours, we basically do a lot of games quite fast, and then include in-app purchases and ads and so on, and then maybe finish 1 game every week. That's pretty good, especially if you're a smaller developer. So definitely check out the Amazon App Store. So I just wanted to give you guys an overview of why I'm going to do this video now, why I'm including the in-app purchases. So if I go into the project here, I'll quickly play through the game just so you guys can see. Maybe you've seen this or not. It's going to be a little slow because of the recording software here, as usual. So it might skip a few frames and I might not be able to shoot things. But it's an old school space shooter, and similar in kind of in vein to the old, say, Galaga series or Space Invaders, and I was kind of influenced by that because I love retro games. I'm a retro gamer, Pac-Man and whatever. So the goal is just to go for as long as you can. Just shoot these objects and shoot the invaders. Avoid the bullets, these red things. Collect the geometry stars so that you can upgrade your weapons, and that's pretty much it. There's not much else to it. So it's a pretty simple game, and I'll quickly go back into the main menu here, click on the arrow, and here this is the shop scene, so this comes after the main menu. So you can buy the left gun, which shoots to the left side, and then the front gun, which shoots a double one, and then the right gun. And underneath here you can see 5,000, 3,000 and 5,000 stars. So as the player collects the stars in the game, they can unlock these eventually. Or they can buy packs of stars, which would be like $1, $3, and $5, I think. That's the price. So, but we'll check before we do the update. So, alright, so first things first, what we want to get is the Amazon in-app purchase API added. Now, we use plugins from Prime31, which I've probably mentioned like several times. So, really good plugins, check them out. I'll just show you the website's prime31.com. And then you can see a full list of their plugins which are available. That saves us a huge amount of time and probably a huge amount of money as well. And so I definitely recommend them. Unity plugins, and then you can see a list of the Android and iOS ones. And the Android one that I'm using right now is the let me find it. It's the Amazon App Store. It's down here somewhere. It was here before. It might not be here right now. But it doesn't matter if it's not available right now anyway, because basically the Amazon App Store plugin is also available on the developer site as well. So I'll just see if it is available. But if you go to the Amazon App Store and then go to SDK, you can basically download the free Unity plugin, which allows you to integrate Unity in-app purchases inside of Unity. So if I click on Android here, and then Amazon in-app purchases, So here's the documentation for it. So I don't know if it's still available to download. Maybe it's maybe because Amazon now has a free one. But you can go to Amazon, developer.amazon.com, and download the free one anyway. So, but I'll show you how to do this with the Prime 31 plugin. So I'm going to go to Assets, back into Unity, Assets, Import, Custom Package, and I'm going to find the package that I got from prime31.com. Packages, Prime 31, Android, Amazon in-app purchases, that one right there. Okay, that's cool. I'm going to open, and I'm just going to take a quick check just to see what it's installing, just to make sure there's nothing weird or something which doesn't look, something that I need to mentally remember just in case I need to delete the package afterwards. But this is all named Amazon Android Manifest. Okay, I'm going to take a quick screenshot of this, and I usually do this because in case there's any problem or it won't build, I can then delete the in-app purchase, the files that we've just installed, so that we can go back to where we originally were. Alright, in-app purchasing jar. So you see, this isn't named Amazon, so that's why I was checking in case I need to delete things. And I'm looking for all the Amazon files, this one wouldn't show up, so that's why I've made a screenshot. But this looks fine, so let's click import. And I'm going to turn off my heater because I'm boiling. Even though it's freezing in Shanghai, but I've got this heater down at my feet keeping me nice and warm. It gets really cold in Shanghai. So this should just take a second to install. And there we go, it's done. And okay, so what we need to do with Prime 31 plugins is if we click on Prime 31, then generate Android manifest file. What that does is it updates the Android manifest file for Android so that it includes the libraries that are needed for the code that you're going to implement. In this case, the Amazon App Store in-app purchase code. So what I usually do after I've done included a new API, a new SDK into the game, a new package, is I do a build to make sure it's all running okay. So I'm going to just go player settings. I updated this before to version 12 because I actually opened this game before. And I'm going to go to, publish settings. Okay. Okay, and then I'm just going to enter my key. Sorry, I'm not explaining this exactly at the moment. Like I say, this isn't a tutorial step-by-step thing. This is mainly sort of for, say, intermediate developers who already have launched a game, say, on Google Play or even on Amazon. Okay, and I'm going to do a build. I've got to find the folder, which is this one, Space Shooter X build. That's right. I'm going to name it version 12. Always separate your APKs like this so that it's clear which version it is. And I'm going to call this Amazon, and it is going to be called so Amazon, and then in-app purchases added. There we go. So that's we know which version we've done and what things we've added up to there. So if I click save, should do a build now, and I'm just going to plug in my Android in a moment so that I can build to it, and then we know it's running okay. So I usually take these steps before doing any kind of code implementation, because what will happen here is it's this building, it's including that Amazon library inside of the APK file, the build file. So if we have any problems here, if there's any kind of errors or something, then we can handle that error first. It's because if we add the API and then we add a bunch of code, but then we get this build error, we don't know if that's come from the code or if that's come from just the adding the library in. So usually I like to do it this way. All right. So let me just plug in. Like I say, this is really put together nice and fast. This past few days, I was actually hoping to do some other updates as well, and not to sort of stray too much off the topic of this video, but perhaps other indie developers will understand this. But I was actually aiming to do some sort of a online game recently. I was aiming to put in do a game which was online multiplayer. So that would be a game with no single player mode. It would just basically be a game which had multiplayer in it, and I started to test this out, and this is brand new for me. I actually had used exitgames.com Photon, which is like a Unity multiplayer solution, and I was starting to learn that, and it's because I wanted to do something a little bit new, because the games that we've done over the past 6 months or a year even have all been kind of similar for Cobble Play. But it's interesting because I'm always torn between, like, I want to do something new and I want to try and do something interesting and fun for me to code as well, you know, because it's kind of like, you know, I'm learning something different, and it's kind of interesting. But then I'm always like, oh wait, no, I should update this because I can do it fairly quickly, and it generates revenue, even though it's not that interesting to do. So I just wish like these games had already got all in-app purchases included, and Tapjoy, offer walls, and ads, and all optimized already, so that I could move on to new things. But it's kind of like, okay, half the time I have to do updates because that's where we know we can make money, and then this stuff, this experimental stuff is fun, but it's really, we've got to, you know, don't spend too much time here unless we know that can make money. Once this makes money later, then we can do it all day long. But I think maybe other developers will get that, because you know, it's kind of like torn between making money and updates, because updates are not that fun, to be honest. Anyway, so back onto this. So this folder window has popped up, and here it is, the version 12 Amazon in-app purchase. If the APK has appeared, it means that it's built, no problem. There's no library integration issues, which is fantastic. So I'm just going to click on File, Save Scene, Save Project as a habit, and I'm going to click Command and B now. And I've just gone and plugged in my Android device here, and what this will do is it will install to the device. Now, you guys, other developers, intermediate developers on Android will know this process. But tapping on Command and B means that it will build the APK file, the Android file, and then it will deploy it to the device as well. So this is actually an interesting process. When I first started to build Android games with Unity, the first time I did it, it was really confusing, and it was kind of like a bit of struggle to get that process figured out. But once it's figured out, don't worry if you're running into any kind of stumbling blocks here with, say, building anything at all. You know, you'll figure it out, and then the repeat process is a lot easier, and it becomes a lot faster as well. But as I mentioned before, me trying to do this online multiplayer game thing, you know, trying to build a new multiplayer game that I've never done before, because I've never touched online code. It was kind of like going back to that feeling of, oh my god, I don't know what I'm doing here, and looking through forums and trying to figure out like why this code isn't working, and scratching my head. I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning last night, or 3:30 or something like that, just staring at some code, online code, multiplayer networking code, and trying to figure it out. And I was just like, oh my god, this is really challenging, but it was fun at the same time, you know. So alright, so it's loaded, and you guys hopefully can see this clearly. So there's the main menu screen. If I click on play, there you go, there's the shop scene. And right now, if I click on something, it should be the Google Play Market. I think it will be. I'm just testing this out. I've just tapped on the get 3,000 stars. What is going to happen at the moment is at the moment it will go to the Google Play Market. Now, I don't think it will do it on my device, because this is a Chinese HTC. And China mobiles do not allow you to make paid purchases with the Google Market. So I don't think this is going to work. But that doesn't matter right now, because we're building an Amazon version. Be careful when you're doing in-app purchases. Make sure that the in-app purchases is okay for that market. So when we publish a game on Amazon, it has to have the Amazon in-app billing API. It can't have the Google one, because they'll reject it. And they'll reject it because that's part of their developer agreement, is you have to include their API. Especially with Google Play, be very careful, because with Google Play, they don't do a check and I've mentioned this before, they don't check the game like a review process that takes 1 week and then they approve it. They'll do random spot checks. So if your game includes, say, an Amazon in-app purchase API, and we actually got flagged, or we got told for this before, and we included the Amazon API by accident inside of BladeStar X, and they said, hey, if you want to sell paid in-app purchases on Google Play, it has to be the Google Play API. So that's like one strike, Oh my God. So just be careful with that, guys, because Google will, after say 5 or 6 times, they'll just cancel your account, and that's like game over for your Google Play account. And you have to get a new one and then re-upload all the games, and it's a big pain. So here's the game running anyway. I'll try and play this in the reflection if I can. So it's running kind of smooth on here. It's okay. Yeah, so anyway. No, this is a gameplay video. There you go, so collecting geometry stars. And at the bottom here as well, ads will load. The connection isn't very good, so it doesn't load very often here in China. But anyway. So anyway, the game's running and that's all good. So what we need to do now is I need to go to the shop scene, and there it is, Space Shooter X shop scene. So I just did a search for shop, and what we want to do is I'm going to open, is it shop items? I've not actually looked in this for a few weeks now, so that's why I'm not 100% sure. I'm just going to double click on Space Shooter shop items, this script here, and I think this is the script which handles the in-app purchases for Google Play or for any in-app purchase at all. So we'll see how this goes. So at the bottom I've got Mono develop the application, but sort of bouncing, and it'll slowly open. Alright, here we go. I need to buy a faster Mac as well, I think. Okay. Alright, so Space Shooter shop items. Okay, I'm just going to check that this is the one that I'm looking for. So I don't think this is it. This is the part that unlocks the guns. Okay, so this actually just unlocks the guns. This isn't the... okay, so I think it's this one. Ah, there we go. I think this is correct. So for example, 3000 geometry stars. If the user taps on 3000 geometry stars, the button, if we're on Android, check and try to make purchase for Google Play. Yeah, so it calls this with 3000 stars. Yeah, so this is the one. So we've already got the basic logic set up for Google Play, and what we want to do is we want to set this up for Amazon. But what we first want to do is we don't want to make a separate project or game separate project for Amazon. We want to have this in the same project. So what we need to do is we need to set a variable, a piece of data that says, hey, this is going to the Amazon App Store. So use this billing API. If it's going to Google Play, use this billing API. Okay, so I'm just going to go to my logo scene, which is the first scene that loads in the project. And in this scene, I can set a variable which says, hey, this is the Amazon App Store, not the Google Play Market. So I think this is Game Center. So I don't think I have a global persistent object in here. And what I do is a global persistent object. Is just what I've called it. It's just basically global persistent settings. And what this is just so that the game can check any settings it needs to check in any of the scenes. So if it's in the game scene, it can look into this object and say, oh right, okay, or check one of these variables and say, okay, it's an Amazon App Store game, or it's a Google Play game, or whatever we want to check. So I'm gonna use this script, global persistent settings, and you can call this whatever you want. That's just a script that I made a while ago. And I'm gonna create an empty game object, and I'm gonna grab this, press enter so that I can command and copy, or control and C or command and C to copy. And game object, click enter, command and V or command and C to paste. And then I'm just going to drag this script over here. so that this script gets called when the scene first loads. And I'm sure a lot of the, obviously you guys should know that one if you're intermediate, but maybe beginner developers don't know this. Okay, so alright, so what I want to do here is I actually want to, I'm going to grab some code from another script that I had already made before on Superbug Killer or on Gundam Style versus Dance Zombies. That's already available on Amazon. So as always, guys, the way to code is to reuse as much code as possible, especially if you're trying to build games fast, like I do. Reuse as much code as possible. Don't do everything from scratch. It takes a long time, unless you are trying to do something special. So I'm going to try and find my other code from my other game and then actually use that one. But I'm going to do that in a moment and explain, because right now I am super hungry and I'm going to go away and get some food, and I'm going to come back and finish this video again and restart it, and then you guys can follow up for part 2. But anyway, so far I hope you find this video interesting, but please stay tuned for part 2. I will be back very soon. Okay, bye bye.